Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video, we'll be looking at India as a mega biodiversity nation and the different biogeographic zones of India. Now, globally, if we see, most of the biodiversity is concentrated in the tropical region, that is, in the tropical forests and the oceans. India too lies in this region. Now, across the world, there are 17 mega biodiverse countries which are housing 70% of the planet's terrestrial biodiversity. To be known as a mega biodiversity nation, there should be at least 5,000 endemic plant species, and that region should be bordered by marine ecosystems. That is, it should have a lot of endemism and there should be marine biodiversity, marine ecosystem as well. India is one such mega biodiversity nation. In fact, in the year 2020, maximum number of species were added by Karnataka and Kerala. India is proud to host more than 1 lakh species of animals and 55,000 plus species of plants. The entire nation has been divided into 4 mega biodiversity hotspots or mega diversity hotspots. These hotspots are basically constituting a majority of the different species of plants, animals, aquatic species of our ecosystem. So out of the 34 globally identified biodiversity hotspots, India is part of 4 of them. So these are, as you can see over here, the most biodiverse countries in the world. And if we see here, India is here at the 8th or the 9th position. So even though we have only 2.4% of the land area, we have 8.1% of species diversity. In fact, as of September 2022, we are having more than 11,000 endemic flora that are present in India. That is the reason India is known as a mega biodiversity nation. Now, in this mega biodiversity nation, further, there have been 10 zones that have been divided. These 10 zones are again individually divided into provinces. So, there are, in these 10 zones, there are totally 27 provinces. These zones are basically large units, large distinctive units having similar ecology, similar community and similar species. And the reason it is important for us to divide our country into biogeographic zones is because this classification actually helps us in planning the conservation strategies. If we know what kind of zone we are looking at, we will have particular conservation strategies for that area. So this idea of biogeographic zones was conceptualized way back in 1986, and India shows 10 biogeographic zones. So what we'll be looking at in the further slides is what are these zones, what are the major states where these zones are found, and some of the important flora and fauna of each of these zones. So as you can see here, the zones are Trans-Himalayan region, what is shown in blue here, the Himalayan region, what is shown here, as well as here towards the eastern part of our country. We have the desert zone, semi-arid zone, that is shown in yellow here. We have the Western Ghats, that is shown towards the coastal region. Then we have the Deccan Plateau or the Deccan Peninsula, which is forming the majority, largest by area in our country. The Gangetic Plains, what is shown in brown over here. Islands that are shown here. And finally, the coastal region that you can see over here. So these are the 10 different biogeographic zones of our country. Let us look at each one of them in detail. So the first biogeographic zone is the Trans-Himalayan Zone. Trans-Himalayan Zone, as you can see over here from the map, is found in the Spiti Valley of then we have in Himachal Pradesh, the Ladakh region. The Tibetan Plateau is actually also the Trans-Himalayan region. Parts of Sikkim, as you can see over here, parts of Sikkim are also coming under the Trans-Himalayan region. So basically, this region is characterized by cold and arid climate. It shows more of the bare rock, like you can see in the picture over here. More of bare rock, more of glaciers are found in this particular region. So the type of flora and fauna found here are also quite unique. We have snow leopards, which are very commonly found in the Trans-Himalayan region. There are wild sheep, wild goats. The other animals that can be found are marmots, like shown over here, ibex, that's shown here. Even migratory black-necked crane is often found in the Trans-Himalayan region, and the vegetation is very, very sparse. The vegetation mainly comprises of alpine steppes. So these are the different, or you can say the characteristic flora and fauna found in the Trans-Himalayan region, which is found at the topmost region of our country. Followed by this, we have the Himalayas. Now, Himalayas are the loftiest mountain chains in the world, loftiest and in fact the youngest mountain chain in the world. It is characterized by high altitude and quite a steep gradient. In fact, the Himalayas can be divided into northwestern Himalayas, like what is seen over here, that is in the states of Jammu Kashmir or Himachal Pradesh, even Uttaranchal. All of this comes under the northwestern Himalayas. We have central Himalayas and eastern Himalayas as well, that is in the Sikkim region. From central we have only Sikkim, the rest of it goes into Nepal, and from the eastern region we have it in Arunachal Pradesh. So this entire belt is what we call as the Himalayan zone. And this Himalayan zone is characterized by several types of trees like oaks, chestnuts, like shown over here. This is the oak plantation, oak trees that are found here. Chestnut trees are quite common. Conifers are very, very common in this region. Ash trees, pine trees, deodars, rhododendrons are quite common in the Himalayan region. And amongst the animals, we have mountain goat. There's ibex, what I showed you in the previous slide. Musk deer is very, very common in the Himalayan region. Red panda. There are animals called as dholes, wolves, markhor, black bear, martens, snow leopards. These are some of the common animals that are quite often seen in this region, that is called as the Himalayan region. The third region is the desert region. The desert region mainly in our country can be seen, that is the Thar desert or the Great Indian Desert, which is found in the Rajasthan and parts of Punjab and Haryana at the tip over here. We also have the Run of Kutch, which is found in Gujarat. So this entire region is called as the desert region. This is the desert region of India. Now in this zone, the trees and the animals that are found are adapted to the hot and dry weather. So the animals that you find over here mainly include the Great Indian Bustard. We have certain migratory flamingos that are seen over here, wild asses that are seen. We have camels, like the usual desert animals, gazelles. We have reptiles, many different types of reptiles are seen over here. And amongst the flora, we mainly have date palms and cacti. The other xerophytic plants that are found, or the desert plants which are adapted to the hot and dry conditions that are found here, are the cacti or the cactus. So these are the different types of flora and fauna found in the desert biogeographic zone. We have done with 3 zones: Trans-Himalayan, Himalayan and the desert zone. The fourth zone is the semi-arid area. Now, semi-arid area is like a transition zone. It's like an in-between zone, intermediate zone between the desert region and the dense forest region that we find in the Western Ghats. So the semi-arid areas are mainly found in Rajasthan and Gujarat. And here the flora that is found are the thorny forests, like you can see in the picture over here. There are open areas of bare soil and there's quite a lot of soil water deficit. So that is the reason we find more of shrub vegetation and grasses that are growing over here. Amongst the animals, the main animals that we find here are the Asiatic lion, which is present mainly in the Gujarat region. We also have jackals. We have bustards, Great Indian Bustard, bulbul is there, larks are there, chinkara, that is the Indian gazelle. All of these are the different animals and plants that we are finding in this semi-arid transition zone between a completely arid or dry region and a dense forest region. The next zone that we have is one of the zones with maximum diversity. This is also one of the hotspots that are found in India. That is the Western Ghats region. Now, the Western Ghats are found very closely to the western coast. As you can see over here, they are almost bordering the western coast. They are not touching the coast, but they are almost near the western coast of India. And this is a region with very high plant as well as animal diversity. The Eastern Ghats usually don't show us this much of diversity because they are discontinuous. The Eastern Ghats are present on the eastern coast and they are dissected by wide rivers which form delta. So the slope is towards the east, and that is why we have a lot of rivers which are emptying into the ocean over here, and that is why we don't have a continuous Eastern Ghats range. But that's not the case with Western Ghats. Western Ghats is a continuous range that is starting way up here in Maharashtra and ending down here in Tamil Nadu. So this Western Ghats region is present over Gujarat, Maharashtra. You can see over here we have Goa, parts of Karnataka, Kerala and Tamil Nadu. All of these, it finally ends in the Kanyakumari district of Tamil Nadu, and this entire region is called as the Western Ghats. Now, this region is characterized by the Nilgiri Thar. There's also the lion-tailed macaque, about which I told you when I was telling you about the Silent Valley movement, how the Silent Valley movement was quite influenced by the presence of lion-tailed macaque, how the Silent Valley movement was successful, because if that dam would have been built, we wouldn't see lion-tailed macaque in the Western Ghats region. So this is an animal that is quite endemic to this region. We have the Nilgiri Thar that is endemic to the Nilgiri hills of the Western Ghats. We have tigers, leopards, Asian elephants are quite often found. We also have snakes, very high variety of snakes that are found over here. Hornbills that are found in the Dandeli forests in Karnataka, and many other species. We also have a lot of flora, lot of plants which are quite endemic to this region. They are similar to the tropical rainforest. So this region of Western Ghats is high in species diversity. The next region that we have is the Deccan Peninsula. Deccan Peninsula is the largest region. If you see over here, it is the largest region by area in our Indian country or in our nation. It is the Deccan Plateau or Deccan Peninsula is the largest region. It is in the rain shadow of the Western Ghats, and it has less rainfall because the Western Ghats are blocking the moisture. So in this region, we find a lot of it's mainly seen in Madhya Pradesh, in Telangana, parts of Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, parts of Karnataka, small bit of Kerala, and majority of Tamil Nadu. So these are the areas where we find the Deccan Peninsula. And here the animals that we find are those which can live amongst these slightly dry conditions. So the trees we find here also are the deciduous trees like shown in the background. These are dry, and they may be either dry deciduous or even moist deciduous, but usually this region receives lesser rainfall in comparison to the Western Ghats. So the animals that are found over here include various species of deer, like we have the black buck, we have swamp deer, antelopes, chinkara, gaur. These are the different deer species that we find. Then we have tiger, which is found in the central region of the Deccan Peninsula. Tiger is very common over there. We also have nilgai and giant squirrel. These are some of the species that are found in the Deccan Peninsula. The next region is the Gangetic Plain. Gangetic Plain is extending up to the Himalayan foothills. So if you can see over here, from the Himalayan foothills into the plains, it is extending. It is around the main river that is there in that plain is the Ganges River. That is why it is called as Gangetic Plain. And this is seen mainly in UP, Bihar, and parts of West Bengal. UP, Bihar, and parts of West Bengal is where we find the Gangetic Plain. This is quite a rich, fertile region because the soil is very fertile. We find trees like teak, sal, shisham. There's a care. A lot of cultivation is seen in this region because the soil is fertile. We have animals like elephants, rhinos. There are buffaloes, hog deer, Bengal floricans. So these are the different types of animals and plants like the teak trees seen in the background, which are found in the Gangetic Plains. The next one are the Northeast Indian region. The next biogeographic zone in India is the Northeast India, which is found mainly in parts of Assam. As you can see over here, Assam and the other northeastern states except Arunachal Pradesh. Arunachal Pradesh comes under the Himalayan zone. Other northeastern states come under the Northeast zone. So in the Northeast zone, the characteristic plant that is found are the orchids. There are various types of orchids and ferns that are found over here. We also have bamboo that is quite commonly found, and the main animal species which is endemic to this region is the one-horned rhinoceros. So these are some of the animals and plants that are found in the northeastern zone. The next zone of India are the islands, and the last one are the coasts. Now islands are the ones which are found in Arabian Sea, that is the Lakshadweep Islands, what you see over here, and in the Bay Islands which are found in the Indian Ocean, those are the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. So these are the different islands that we have for the Indian subcontinent. And here the main plant species that we find are the evergreen kind of forest and the mangrove forest that you see over here. We also have animals like whales. We have the South Andaman crate, which is a type of a snake. We have corals that are found very commonly in the island region. The plants also include coconut groves that are found. So these are some hornbills are found. These are some of the animals and plants that are quite oftenly found in the island region. The coastal region is, we have quite a long coast, more than 5,500 kilometers of coastal region we have. So on both the eastern and the western coast, we have a lot of backwaters. That means there are mangroves that are found over there. We also have a lot of coconut trees that are found. Lot of fishes that are found in the coastal region. We have crocodiles, dolphins, many migratory birds that come in. Crustaceans are there. In fact, the olive ridley turtle's largest mass nesting area or mass nesting site is in Odisha. So we have a lot of similarity between the islands and the coast. The only thing is they are different in their geographic location, but their flora and fauna are quite similar. So these are the 10 biogeographic zones of India, namely the Trans-Himalayan region, Himalayas, desert, semi-arid areas, Western Ghats, Deccan Plateau, Gangetic Plains, Northeast Zone, islands and coasts. I hope this video was of use to you. I hope to see you all in the next video. Thank you.